buenos días a todos y gracias por estar aquí. Ahora están llegando otras personas. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the last panel of this morning, right before the well-deserved lunch break. It's a real pleasure for me to be here as a moderator of this panel, in which we will focus on a topic that's particularly relevant for many stadiums, arena, and clubs. To dive into this subject, we have two outstanding guests. Fabrizio Caruso, a key figure that represents one of the main and iconic stadiums in the world. And Luca Campanile from BusForFun, a mobility company that it's expanding its business across the countries thanks to its 10 years of experience in large-scale events. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fabrizio, I will start with you. And as we know, San Siro is one of the symbols of football in the world. As Miss Stadio, you have shown an incredible adaptability, hosting not only football events and matches for two major clubs, but also corporate events and concerts. Could you give us some example of your numbers and the events? You have a slide, so I'll try to put it.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, my Spanish is not good enough to have this conversation in Spanish, but let's do it in English.
Okay.
And, well, yes, as you know, San Siro is one of the most iconic stadiums in the world, and currently me as a general manager of my stadium, we do manage both clubs' activities in the stadium, so AC Milan and Internazionale. This means that this is a sort of unique experience in the European football, having two top clubs playing in the same stadium. So, as you can see in the numbers, we had more than 16 football matches during last season. This means both the teams, two times the Italian national team, one women derby, Inter versus Milan, and a couple of friendly matches. So our stadium is, let's say, under pressure on football matches. And plus, because we don't like to make easy things, we have had 18 concerts, main concerts, I mean every concert more than 50,000 people in the stadium. And also a lot of corporate events, you see more than 50, but here we are counting only the real corporate events. You will need to sum up also music videos, commercials, and videos for the sponsors and for the clubs. So the stadium never sleeps, and there's always something to do 365 days per year. As you can see, during that 60 football matches, we had more or less 4 million people walking through our gates. This means a huge impact on the city, because you may know San Siro Stadium is not in the center of Milan, but it's still within the urban borders. So there is an impact, of course, on the neighborhood, on the means of transportation that are related to the stadium. And the concert will bring to our venue also more than 1 million people. So if we sum up the football matches plus the concert plus the visitor for the museum and others, we will land at almost 6 million people moving around our stadium. And of course, this is a big challenge for us, for the clubs, because you know, Stadio is owned 50-50 by the two clubs, so we work directly with them. And of course, it's different from being inside one big club and having only one, let's say, final customer. Because each club has his own prerogatives, their own decide. For example, they do not call the parking lots in the same way. Inter and Milan have different names for the parking lots and for so many things. So this is let's say, the context of our daily job. It's challenging, but it's, I think, one of the best jobs in the world.
Thank you very much for sharing these numbers. And I have one more question for you. Since you manage different type of events, football matches, concerts, did you notice some differences in the behavior of the audience, and how does the mobility plan change based on the event that you have to organize?
Well, let me say that a football match compared with a music concert is a totally different, not sport, but it's a different planet. We are very far away from being similar, and the only thing that is the same is the venue, but everything else changes. It changes a lot. For example, the football fans are always, let's say, the same in a very small portion of the stadium, because each club has more than 50% of seasonal pass. So we have also always same guys, and also the rest of the stadium is filled with people that are used to the stadium. So they knew how to come to the stadium, where to park, if coming with the underground, with buses and so on. So they are trained by the years of experience on using the stadium. Even if now we are experimenting some increase in the numbers of football tourists, so people that are coming to Milan and also they enjoy football matches, this is normal. This is still a small part of the overall audience. A concert is a completely different story, because people mainly are coming to the stadium for the first time or the second time. They don't know how to get to the stadium, how to move inside the stadium, where they have to sit. They know nothing, so we need to do a lot of information work for them. And also is a type of audience that changes a lot with the artist. Imagine, for example, you have a rock band from the 80s, you will have a type of audience that will probably come by car, or that will use less the public transportation. And compare it with like a young pop star, she or he will bring to the stadium guys from the 14 to 20, 22 years of age. So it's completely different. For example, this has a huge impact on the mobility, because if I come by car, I will have all the traffic jam and the neighborhood complaining. But the same, if we have a younger audience, we'll have an easier incoming of the public, because they will probably come by underground or public transportation, but it will be a nightmare at the end of the concert, because there will be all the parents coming to the stadium trying to pick up their sons. So it's really, really different, and all we do is try to arrange things with the relevant people. I mean, for football matches, it's easier. We have to just keep the machine going. For the concert, we establish with the City of Milan, all the local police, government representative, police and so on, a working group that meets every 2 months, even when there are no concerts, in order to prepare the field for the new season. And also because near San Siro there are other 2 venues that can host concerts in the same season. So we already had 19 concerts, and imagine there are more concerts in the same area, with also many thousands of people. So it's what we saw in the last 2 years, for example, is that having a conversation with the other venue, having them at the table with the city improves a lot. The local police helps us with all the traffic jams and helps us on finding the right way, and also new means of transportation that were not very used in the past, like buses and shuttles from faraway parking lots, are a strategy that currently we are trying to exploit better.
Thank you. I mean, there are not only differences between football matches and concerts, but even in the concert type and the audiences, it's different. So, I mean, it's a good point.
I can say that maybe football for us is easy because we had a good amount of experience. Even if the concerts are in San Siro since 1986, I'm not completely sure it was a Bob Marley concert, the first one in San Siro. But the number of music events during the year has increased enormously. After COVID, there was an explosion. So this 19 concerts we have per year is a city limit that we had in a negotiation with the city, because otherwise the demand of concerts is I don't want to say 10 times higher, but we could host many of them.
Okay, thank you for your presentation and the introduction. Luca, it's your turn now. Yes. I will start with a general description of BusForFun for those who might not know what the company does and what we do. So I know you have a slide, so please go ahead. There are 3 case studies.
I'm sorry again for my poor Spanish. I prefer my poor English. Here, BusForFun. BusForFun is a 10-year-old company. We manage mobility for mass events. Here you can see 3 very famous venues in Italy. We are used to change venue more or less every day, because last year we managed 153 mass events. For us, a mass event is plus 60,000 people. And here you have 3 examples. As Fabrizio said, this is a concert in San Siro during the summer. Fabrizio described it very, very well, the scenario that we face every given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The second one is very interesting. It's a famous arena in Italy. It's the largest, I'm sure, largest in Italy. It's 113,000 people. Usually is used for the Harry Styles, AC/DC, this kind of concert that requires a huge gathering of people. And the third one is another famous stadium, is Olimpico Stadium in Roma. We decided to show this slide because Olimpico is used for multi-days sport events. The difference between San Siro and Olimpico is football, concerts, and sport events like the European Athletic Championship, a 16 days long events. BusForFun in these 3 venues plan the mobility, select the technology, and execute the operation.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good introduction. And we know that BusForFun works directly with federations, event organizers, or clubs, of course. And how the approach change based on the venue, based on the client, on the mobility plan?
Oh, the mobility plan. The approach is different because after the COVID, the focus of the organizer mainly is on the experience. They require a smooth experience for the spectators. Instead, usually, the venue requires to don't mess the traffic in order, it's a local relationship issue, because otherwise there are cars everywhere, people everywhere, buses everywhere. This is the main difference between the 2 subjects, the organizer of the events and the venue. And usually we try to find a balance according with the police enforcement, because the police enforcement is in charge of safety and security, to find a balance between experience and use of the area.
Of course, I suppose that the mobility plan is based also on the transport service that actually are working on the city and the location of the venue, because we know that sometimes there are venues in the city center that are good connected with all the city, and others that are a little bit in the not in the center. So
yeah, of course. For example, Arena Campovolo is not in the middle of nothing, but it's far away from every station. And there we create huge parking. You can see the 270 buses parked over there. again, there is a difference between football and concert. The concert ends a little bit too late for the public transportation. There is not enough power, there are not enough seats in the trains to move all these people. During the football matches, as Fabrizio said, the city is organized to support the events. This means that you have time, for example, San Siro has the underground under the stadium, is able to manage the evacuation of the people. This is the second key of the experience and time of evacuation of the stadium, the venue.
Yeah, of course. Everything must be customized on the venue, on the spectator, as we said, together with Fabrizio. Another question, it's for both of you, so who wants to go first? It's about technology. I mean, how can technology improve the experience of the spectator and can improve any other aspects of the organization of the event in your experience, or what do you?
Me first.
Who wants?
I go first. Of course, we as San Siro Stadium had a long tradition of paper and pencil work. As good Italians, we like to go on the analogical.
100 years.
Apart from joking, now we are facing a huge period of transformation. We are trying to go digital as we can, and on the mobility part, let's say that starting collecting all the data on what the customers, and by customers I mean the clubs, the promoters for the concerts, the corporates, leaders for their corporate events, collecting this data is now crucial for us, and what we are trying to do is to put some figures behind the good practice that we experimented in the years, because we are very, let's say, strong on building setups, and so we manage the concert setup, the football match setup, and so on, but we are still lacking some capability of being dynamic on special requests. For example, we had a concert last year where the artist wanted all, let's say, full sustainable, increased the number of bicycle parking spot and so on. And this type of request that is something that is valuable for the artist, for the promoter, and also for us, of course. We still don't have the, let's say, the digital assets to quickly rearrange our setup and build customized models for our final customer. Something that we are working on. We did some investments on this. We now have the automatic plate reader on the parking lots and so on, but it's still a journey to something more evolved. So the role is crucial. How we are still already using it, not so well. This is why we rely on partners that can use technology.
Thank you. From our side, we have, of course, a full digital approach. Our philosophy is that we push the organizer and the venue on the request to have every spectator with a booked service. We don't care which kind of services. It's a public train, a bicycle, a parking, a bus, a boat, whatever they want. But it's important that they book something. If they book something, we have the data to control the flow. And we organize the mobility system, or we modify in the last hours the mobility system according to the data. This is why the collection of data is very, very important. I say very famous thing is decision based on data. In mobility, sometimes the decision is made on the road. On a crossroad, you see a mess, maybe the traffic jam is only there and you close the highway exit. This has happened. Now we have control rooms, drones, whatever, to take a decision based on data. Otherwise, the decision can create multiple traffic jam.
Here we,
Let me add also one thing that probably is an assist to what you were saying. Of course, when we talk about technology, we intend all that is digital, no? The technologies, but the technology is also how we manage the physical space, you know? So we also did some initiatives to help the flows of the people. For example, during football matches, we have very specific sectors and a very specific way of entering the stadium in order also to keep separated different teams. It's something that should not happen, but today, unfortunately, we have to keep fans separated. This doesn't happen, of course, during a concert, so we have more room for inventing new things, and this is what we did also with you in the parking lots, I think it was.
Yeah, exactly. Here we have an example of one of your parking lot. So I think that this could be an example of experience and technology, how we change the layout of a parking, if you want to.
It looks like a parking lot, and it is, but it's something special.
No, it's a strange parking lot because we created a parking lot with overlapped lines in order to have 2 or 3 different layouts based on the events we are guesting. If it's football, the parking operates in a certain way. If it's a concert, change completely the approach, because another huge difference is that the impact of the operation of Fabrizio is that the very, very young fans of the concert arrives to the stadium the night before the concert because they want to be the first. Is it correct?
Correct, yes. When I come to the stadium in the early morning, I already see the guys in line. I say, okay, but the concert is in, 12 hours.
Yeah, we faced the problem in the Harry Style concert in the arena that was showed before, that one. We had 2,500 young ladies under 16 in front of the arena the night before. And police enforcement told us, okay, now you manage this mess. They blocked the road. It's not so easy. This is why football, where we have more security issues, compared to a concert of young ladies like that.
And also, let me add that the concert has a huge impact on the logistics side because, for example, the last year we had 2 shows of Taylor Swift, and you can imagine as a huge production behind her, and she had more than 100 trucks of different materials. So the stadium usually doesn't have all this material, all these trucks to be managed because it's during football matches everything is already set up for cameras and so on. So we need also to find the right space in a parking lot of 3,000 more or less car slots for these 100 trucks. And there a creative solution was found placing all in a different area. Also for the Champions League finals in the 2016, Madrid fans will remember, Atletico not so well. There was also a very big plan around all the stadium in order to find additional spots for everything that is required for a special event, like a Champions League final, of course. So we rented a lot of fields and grounds around all the stadium, arranging parking slots and so on. But I'm little concerned with the big events, in the next February, 6th of February, we will host the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympic Games. And this is a very complex machine with other peculiarities, but what we can fail, let's say, is the daily operational job. So underestimating the impact of a concert, this is something that worries me more than the special events that you have a special team, there is a strong organization behind, and so on. So this type of easy, let's say, cheap initiatives, having the multi-role parking lot, improved a lot the type of service, the kind of service, the level of service that we can deliver to the final customer.
Cheap means wrong invoice, but
we paid for that.
May I add something?
Sure.
The request of San Siro was very, very special in this issue, because you can see that the parking is divided in three, as a multi-role, a different asset for disability too. The request was very, very strong. You can see that the closest parking lot are for wheelchairs mainly. Mm-hmm. Then there is a second area for a mix between the two scenarios, and then there is the general public area. And this is something that Stadio San Siro hardly requested to us to set up a layout, a flexible layout. Sorry for this.
No, thank you for...
Because the effort was not so easy.
I know. No, thank you for sharing your experience in these topics. One last question, because we often talk about sustainability and we know that how people get to the stadiums and to an event in general impact the final report of sustainability or footprint. So do you believe that it is really possible to improve the sustainability report thanks to the technology, to improve the experience? So is it really possible to be more sustainable in an event? How? Do you have some advices?
No, it's your turn. You first.
Okay. Fabrizio has a double problem, inside the venue, outside the venue. Usually we manage the outside the venue. Usually we manage only outside the venue. And we have a certified system to generate the ESG report to the end of the event. This is based on data. Again, if people book a service, we can control the data, we can create the report. An approach like San Siro or Campovolo, the large arena, is based on the reduction of passive traffic. For us, passive traffic is a person that comes from 1,000 kilometers far away, arrives in San Siro, arrives in Campovolo, and starts searching a parking lot. That's from the environmental point of view is crazy. This is why we reserve a specific parking lot. In the ticket, there is a Google Maps that leads the car exactly in the parking lot. 99% of the people arrive to the venue using Google Maps or a tool, similar tool. This is why we modify, according with the police enforcement, to clarify the tracks of Google Maps, closing routes, changing the direction of the ways. The second part is a little bit more complicated.
Yes, on our side, of course, we know that hosting an event, football match or a music event or anything else at the stadium has a carbon footprint that is important, because many people coming to the stadium. We saw 6 million people at the end of the year, so it's a lot. Only a small percentage of them come by bicycle or public transportation. They use other means of transportation. So we as San Siro Stadium, we are in the process of getting our 14001 ISO certification. And correct me if I'm wrong, but probably we will be the first stadium in Italy having this, or the second, but this is not something that is common in a stadium, and of course it's not common for a stadium that is 100 years old. So we have a lot of constraints generated by the structure itself, because 100 years ago the ideas were different on building venues. So we are adapting what we have with everything. But I would like to link this question with the previous one about the technology. In this case, data collection is crucial, because when we discuss with the city what should be done to improve and reduce our carbon footprint, for example, it's always like collecting opinions, no? But we usually don't have the facts, no? So usually when you want to achieve a result, you should know what has an impact on that result you want to achieve. And talking about carbon footprint, it is not so common in our discussion also with the city, but we are doing we did some experiments during some events with the imaging from the satellites, specific measurements that can help us addressing the right actions, and also of course then the operational side of the coin is to help not only the mobility inside our parking lots, but all the city that has a very big impact during a football match with 75,000 people going to the stadium and then back to their houses. So this is also part of our job. Then we also take care of all our guests, of course, with disabilities. So this is something that we do for every event. It's a standard procedure, checking and be sure that the structure is accessible to everyone, considering the constraints that we were mentioning before about a structure that is very old, and the criteria were not the same of today, of course, in the early days of the past century.
Okay. Do you need...
Just to close, but it's easier modify the routing of the concert than football fans. Change something in the football fans is a little bit more complicated, requires a very long process, because they are used to approach the stadium that way. I know this word in Spanish, está acostumbrado,
Yes, it's the other side of the coin of having people that are used to the structure. So on the one side, we say they know how to come to the stadium, they know where they park.
Or they feel to know.
Yes, this is true. On the other side, changing something is difficult. Now we are discussing with the city a limited traffic area around the stadium. Is this the solution? It's more like the old approach, the try and error. No? Let's try and see what happens. My point of view is that we should have some data before, make some calculation, consideration, and then take action. But this, it's a starting point. At least we try to do the things with the city.
And I suppose that also the communication take a huge role in this case, mostly if there are concerts, so people are not used to go to a stadium, and they have to know how to reach it.
We ask by contract to the organizer. The communication of mobility must be done. We don't sign a contract, we don't apply our technology experience if what is agreed with the police is not communicated. Otherwise, it's a 90% failure.
No, because there is also one other important actor of this, let's say, community, that is the neighborhood, because you know that people live near to the stadium, so we need to respect them, and of course the the working group that I was mentioning before has the main objective of keeping the activities of the stadium sustainable by the neighborhood. Of course, there must be some trade-off. As I was saying, we had a cap on the 19 music events. Okay, it's okay for us. Also, the neighborhood have to have some, let's say, noise control on their own houses, because I know that music concert is noisy. But also we leave always some, let's call it breathe space. So we never have too many events, one back to the other, but we try to put some space between one and the other, considering also the other venues of the area. So it looks easy because it's like we have a calendar, let's keep 2 days per week without events, but it's not so easy because it's 2 days and it's a real data, 2 days per week without events during summer, but also with us and the other 2 venues. So we need to link each other, to understand each other. And also we have to match this with the international tours of the artists. It's not so easy to convince an international band or pop star to
the specific
come that day. No, because the previous week we cannot disturb too much the neighborhood and so on. So it's difficult, but it's also satisfying when everything goes smooth sometimes.
Okay. That's good. I mean, we are almost run out of time, so I think we touched some important content and aspects in the organization of events like experience, technology, and sustainability. So thank you for your time. If you have any question, we will be at our stand in the main hall. And thank you for staying here and for your attention. So thanks.
Grazie.